Hey guys, Matt from DP Deconstruct, and today I'm going to talk about an exciting product that finally showed up and that you might actually want to take a look at. In April, Aaron and I went to NAB, and we really had one main goal in mind, and that is to leave with some Cine lenses. We had some other things we wanted to look at, but the best part about NAB is you get to put your hands on everything, touch it, feel it, try it out. And so we just got, at that time, we just got the new red Komodo and red, new to us, and the Raptor, and we wanted a good set of lenses that would cover every need that we had. So we had a kind of a pre-notion coming in, like the brands that we were going to look at: Sigma, the Vespids from DZO, the Zine lenses, especially the carbon fiber smaller ones, the Do lens. And we tried out and used before some of the Zeiss Supreme Primes, and if you've ever used that lens, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, and the Cooks, and so you're trying not to spend 50 grand a lens while trying to cover your basis. And so that was kind of the goal going in. I think we spent the first 6 to 8 hours, the first whole day, really just putting our hands on those, touching each one of them. It was kind of shocking. After the first day, I left a little bit disappointed of thinking about the lenses we went to look at to make a decision. It left us wanting, like they weren't good enough. It made me want to keep, not really looking, but just going, hey, I want to build my budget. Well, the next day we came in and we came across the NiSi booth. And if you know who NiSi is known for their filters. They make incredible high quality filters, amazing glass. If you've ever used the Allure Mist filters from them, they are incredible. Anyway, so I noticed that they had a set of Cine Primes, and so I'm like, what are these? And Aaron and I just spent forever just checking them out. They come, the NiSi Athena Prime is what they're called, and they were literally they showed up the day or two before the show, and they were just showcasing them. I mean, so much so that the lens caps were 3D printed, and they didn't have they're still kind of like in production. And so, but we were just blown away. They come in a PL mount, a RF mount, or a Sony E mount. And man, by the time we left that booth, it changed our entire perspective. And so I want to share a little bit about why we decided to buy these, the characteristics of the lenses that really work well for both ecosystems. And first and foremost, you'll notice that the size of them is super small, but they're made of metal construction. They feel good in their hand. They have weight to them, which just makes everything's tight, no loose moving around like some of the other lenses we put our hands on. And yeah, just loved them. We went ahead with the PL mount after kind of going back and forth. We almost got the RF mount because the RF and the E mount have slide-in, drop-in filters, which was intriguing. But at the same time, you never know if you're going to stay with an ecosystem forever. And so we love the reds, we love that idea, but PL just seemed a little bit safer, and when you're making that kind of investment. So we went with the PL mount, which doesn't come with the drop-ins because of the smaller mount system. But they do have like a screw-on filter that they're going to be releasing for that you can put mist filters on the back of the lens and not always have to have something in the front if you don't feel like it, especially if you're doing gimbal work and those kind of things. That being said, I want to talk about a little bit of the characteristics of it. Again, metal construction. It has this really bright yellow paint on them that you can see in dark situations, and I believe that they're even glow in the dark. So it's just nice that if you need to see what you're doing and where you're at, you can do that in low light situations. They feel really good. Like I said, everything's solid all the way around, and it comes with every lens has a 77 millimeter diameter, so that for screw-on filters or for matte box or whatever you want to do. And then each one of them has gear rings on the aperture and the focus as well. And the best part is every lens is exactly the same size. So when you're doing lens changes fast, you can really quickly change your setups for your focus systems and those kind of things. The other thing that I love about these lenses especially is they're a T19. And that's not, it's fast, it's not super fast, but instead of going, hey, we're going to do a T14 and everything from T14 to T22 is out of focus and they're not usable. Like it's usable from 1.9 all the way through to a T22. And when I say it has isolation of the background, and the characteristics of this lens are amazing. And so I just want to talk about that real quick, the characteristics of these lenses. The Sigmas that we thought we were going to end up going with, both the Classic is more of a vintage lens that has much more of a softer shadows, not near as contrasty, little bit warmer lens. But after I started playing, especially with focus breathing those, I was like, I don't know. And they were only like a T2.4 or something like that. And then the Classics were basically just photo lenses rehoused, super contrasty. These are great in between of those. So they have like a vintage characteristics. When you hit edge flares on lights and stuff, just look beautiful. Flashes across the screen, makes a really cool look. They're not so contrasty that you're stuck to like one way, and you can really make a versatile look out of those. And then the other thing is that when you, for the same price of one lens, we bought an entire kit. And the best part about that is we weren't planning on that. Like we were both planning on spending this money to get what we needed, and went away with going, wow, we got more than what we wanted. And we got 5 lenses, not just a 3 lens kit. And that kit, if you get it, comes in a 14 mil. This is the only one that's at a 4, a T2.4. And then the rest are T19s, and that's a 14, a 25, a 35, a 50, and an 85. And they look beautiful. And so I want to move into some of the pros and the cons. So the first thing we're going to start with is cons of this lens. And I want to say these are deal breakers by no means, but it did end up costing us some money. One of the things that we loved at NAB was we ran across a company that was part of, it's called Mofage, and I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but the product was awesome. Mofage is an adapter from RF to PL, and they have drop-in lenses. They're almost exactly like Breakthrough. If you know what the Breakthrough adapters are, Kipper T, and I'm telling you, this thing was awesome. The best part about this specific adapter is the variable ND that it comes with when you get the kit. Most of them are 2 to 6, 2 to 7 stops max. This one's 1 to 8, and it looks good. There's not a big color shift, and it's just great. And so I was super excited to use this with the lenses that we were going to get. And unfortunately, right away when I went to go mount this and put an adapter on, what happened is I couldn't get it to mount. And so I'm like, what's going on? Is it the lenses? And as I was trying to put it in there, I'm fumbling with it, looking, and it's not turning and mounting properly. And so it's still not doing so. Well, what happens is when this thing is not at its minimum focus distance, you can see that this back lens element is moving and it extends. In the RF mount and the E mount, I don't believe this is a problem at all. But in this one, because everything is kind of moving in relative so that they could keep everything the same size, there's a flange in the middle of this that doesn't allow it. Once it gets past 4 feet of focus, it doesn't mount, or you can't focus past 4 feet. And so it's pretty much worthless unless you're shooting super close content, which most people aren't, shooting 4 feet away. Usually we're starting at around 4 feet if you're shooting interviews and doing different things. And so that was a major bummer. I'm just going to really quickly just kind of show you. I'll mount this in here. And the same thing, like right away, it's just kind of a pain to figure out. And so that mounts, but as soon as I start to turn this ring, this one is the 50, and that's one of the better ones. Like I can get 1.2 meters or exactly 4 feet. And then the ring just stops, and we'll get some B-roll of that. But it was a bummer. And so right away I had to end up buying a new RF to PL mount, and we got it from Hot Rod. I did reach out. NiSi got a hold of me right away, said, hey, we just found out about that issue as well, working on some suggestions, but we used the Hot Rod one at the show, Hot Rod cameras, and so I picked one of those up, which is just a regular adapter, and it costs more than this guy. It's high quality, like it, but at the end of the day, I was really excited about using this mount. The second one is there's an inconsistency on the focus ring resistance. So some of these are really, they're not like super loose. There's a little bit of resistance to them, but they're just not uniform. Whether or not whatever you like, I typically like just a little more resistant, so you can be real smooth with those. That's always how the Zeiss Supremes, I love them. You just feel that, and the 50 is super nice, and you can feel that resistance. Where the 25 is a little more loose. Now they're all really, they're nothing too loose where it's moving around on you, but that's a bummer. And the last thing that I don't like about these lenses is they're made in China. Like, I hate, that stamp on things, but the truth is they're high quality. And so I really do think that it doesn't matter if it's made in China. It's a great quality. It's a consistent lens, and we'll see how they hold up over time. Hopefully we'll do a follow-up with this. To move on to the pros. Man, there are so many pros, and we'll just start off right away with the characteristics of this lens. Like I said, well built. You can feel that they're not cheap. I love that each one of them has a filter, easily seeing what it is when you're in a low light situation, which we are often. Everything's metal housing. It fits tight and nice. All the little attention to details, the Athena on the front caps, the NiSi on the back caps. And then on one side is meters, the other side is feet. Usually you order the lens in one or the other. I think that's awesome about these. To move into the characteristics of the image itself, like I said, it has this beautiful, like it's contrasty, but not too contrast. It still has like the lens flares when you're going across to, it's really cool. At the very edge of the light, once you pass it, it will shoot a flare through the light. I love the look of that. Aaron loves the look of that. Right away, we noticed that and was like, ooh, that's awesome. The focus breathing compensation is the best I've seen. It's better than the Zeiss Supreme Primes. I'm not kidding you. It's that good. Hardly any focus breathing. And when you pull that, it just looks so good. And so like then the other thing is everything lines up. You want to do quick lens changes. It's all spaced even. They're all the same. They all have the 77 millimeter diameters. And so, overall, I would just say that's great. I skipped that in the characteristics. The other thing is the sharpness of these lenses wide open is great. At the very first shoot we were doing with these, we were using a monitor that wasn't amazing. And so Aaron's pulling focus and I'm running camera and he's asking me if it's in focus. And I'm like, it looks like it's in focus. And he's like, I don't know. We got it back and they were tack sharp, beautiful image and wide open, and just really encouraged by that lens. And then the other thing is the isolation. Bokeh to me is like, I don't really care about perfect round bokeh. I don't know. I haven't done that test with these because I don't really care that much. But the isolation of background and the isolation of subject, it just has a really high-end look. And that's what I'm looking for in a Cine lens. So I think it's worth picking these up. I think it's well worth the $5,000 I think they're going for now. I just see them going up. The cool thing is they come with a case. It's not an SKB case, which we prefer, but it's a custom case that each one will fit in for the money. It's a great option. It also comes with something that you can put some lens, filters in, those kind of things. And so the case is sufficient for what it is. But overall, we're super pleased with them. Hopefully you guys kind of enjoy the B-roll, enjoy some of the things we've shot with it. And I would encourage you pick these up. I think they're going to be super popular and they're going to be hard to get a hold of soon. And so, Athena, the Athena Cine Primes by NiSi, totally worth it.